Azure Gleam. Fanaticism. The year is 1182. 5 moons have passed since the battle at Aryan Road. While the war itself has changed little in this time, Adrestia has undergone a striking transformation. Its rivers run red with the blood of its citizens, who are beset by rampant pillage and slaughter. Dmitri resolves to kill the Emperor, dismantle Adrestia, and put an end to this grim reality.
Is this true, Lady Rhea?
It is. Edelgard told me as much before she left to deal with the upheaval in Enbar. Regent Volkard von Arundel was colluding with Tomas and his fellow knaves. For many years, Lord Arundel was a pious adherent to the Church and its teachings, until one day, his contributions abruptly ceased. Speaking of it now, I realize such a sudden change ought to have raised suspicion.
Just like Tomas, he became an entirely different person almost overnight. We had a similar occurrence in Fargus as well. Do you know of the court mage Cornelia?
The one who cured the plague, yes? So she too.
Indeed. I have reason to believe she conspired with Lord Arundel to murder my father. I had assumed them to be agents of the Empire, striving to sow discord within our lands. Yet back at Aryan Road, the Emperor herself was assaulted by a dark mage who we can assume is in league with Tomas. Whoever these people are, they clearly have their own objectives in this conflict.
As for the man who appeared, Talus, was it? It seemed as though the Emperor recognized him.
Yes. She also claimed this Talus was the one responsible for my father's death. I find it difficult to take a bitter enemy's assertion as fact. But the pieces do fit.
Sorry, am I interrupting? It's been a while, Dmitri. Rhea?
That it has, Claude. I'm sorry you had to come all the way to Ferdiad for this.
That makes 2 of us. I could think of plenty of better places for a meeting than this chilly old capital of yours. Of course, I'm the one who asked to stop by in the first place. Thanks for seeing me, Dmitri. The Empire's sure been busy lately. An uprising over here, a siege over there. You'd think they'd get tired of causing so much chaos. But now they're looking to cross the Aramid and do the exact same in Alliance territory. I doubt it'll be long before we start getting hit with some serious losses. Which brings me to my point. What say we partner up and use our combined strength to bring the Empire down?
I am grateful to hear such a suggestion, Claude. Hardened as our soldiers may be, even the combined force of the Kingdom and the Knights of Seros pales in comparison to the staggering might of Adrestia.
If we ever hope to take their capital, we'll need to splinter their army between east and west. And, as Enbar lies in the southernmost reaches of the Empire, carving a path to it will not be an easy task.
I could get behind scattering their troops, but they've got a bear of a man in Count Burgles defending their eastern flank. Passing through Hevring territory in the west won't be smooth sailing either. The Ogma Mountains aren't exactly what I'd call welcoming.
You're right. Any attempt at head-on assault will leave our forces depleted and exhausted before we even reach the capital.
But hey, you're in luck. I have a plan. A way we can target Enbar without so much hassle. All we have to do is claim one vital stronghold, and their sway in Fodlan will shrink dramatically. Any ideas what it is?
Garreg Mach.
Hey, you really know your stuff, Dmitri.
Garreg Mach is sacred to us. Reclaiming it would provide a significant boost to morale. But how do you propose we strike at such a well-fortified location?
We'll draw the Imperial Army out to our respective front lines, then launch a pincer attack on the old monastery from both the east and the west. It's not the fanciest plan in the world, but it's all we've got right now.
Then allow me to suggest an idea of my own. I believe we should approach by way of Aelum. The valley is not closely guarded by the enemy, and its narrow paths negate any numerical advantage they may hold over us. If all 3 of us dispatch our best warriors, then I am certain we can retake Garreg Mach.
The Valley of Torment, huh? You're a better tactician than I gave you credit for, Rhea. How about this? First, we create a diversion by sending separate forces to the east and west and making it look like we aim for their capital. That'll split their focus. Then, when the time's right, we shift our attention to Garreg Mach, sending an army through the Valley of Torment to reclaim it.
The issue then becomes how to hold our ground on both the eastern and western fronts. The west does not concern me on its own. We will have Count Burgleys to contend with in the east.
The trick is engaging the enemy as little as possible. And don't worry, I've got a few surprises up my sleeve if we need them.
The Knights of Seros may be few in number, but they are all the more agile for it. They will act separately, providing reinforcements wherever necessary.
Thank you, Lady Rhea. The support is much appreciated.
Tell me, Dimitri, are you gonna stay buddied up with the Central Church once this war is over?
My people still seek their guidance. So long as that is the case, I will continue to offer them shelter.
Meaning what? You'd toss them out on the street if nobody needed them anymore?
I doubt such a day would ever dawn. Territories may change, but people's hearts will always be stubborn things. Even if we started our own church like the Empire has, there's no guarantee our citizens would accept it in any timely manner, or at all. Let me ask you, Claude. How long do you plan to maintain this partnership with the Kingdom?
I hope we can keep this beautiful thing going for many years, long beyond the trouncing we're about to hand the Empire.
That glint in your eye says otherwise. But I'm glad to accept you as an ally, for the time being at least.
Come on, you can't seriously be doubting me already. Learn to trust a little, Dimitri. And speaking of trust, I trust you'll be throwing a big feast tonight to celebrate the occasion. I can't wait to taste that old-fashioned Fargus hospitality.
Hard to believe it's already been 6 months since the siege back at Aryan Road.
Quite. It's no surprise we've been at a standstill, though. Both the Empire and Kingdom suffered heavy losses during the battle. But lucky for us, it seems the ice is finally thawing. Let's hope you've kept your wits as sharp as your blade all this time.
Ah, there you are.
Hey, what are they doing here?
Were you not made aware? Our fine leaders have seen fit to integrate our armies, as we'll be fighting on the same side from here forward. Claude was quite insistent on our joining you on the Western Front.
I just wish it wasn't so cold here. I can feel my muscles tightening up already.
Yes. I had hoped the cold would at least bring a picturesque snowscape with it, but alas.
I'm sorry to say we receive little snowfall in this part of the kingdom. I imagine our winters aren't all too dissimilar from those you experience in Leicester.
So, what would you like us to do?
Well, I guess there are 2 options. Either you all can stay on the front lines with us, or join the rear guard and help in a more indirect way.
Either is more than acceptable for us, though I should say our preference would be to fight by your side. If we fail to distinguish ourselves here, there will be no end to Claude's sarcastic wit upon our return.
Let's take them at the front with us. That's where we're gonna need the most help.
Agreed. We can discuss further with the others later, but it's safe to assume that is the direction we'll head.
Very well. Allow us to show you what Alliance soldiers are capable of.
Nice of Claude to be sending us back up.
Indeed. It's hard to know what their motivations may be, but we need all the help we can muster.
Your tone's telling a different story, though. What's up?
It's merely that we all have our own reasons for taking part in this fight. Everyone, Claude, Rhea, even us. Each side is watching the other like famished hawks for the slightest hint of foul play.
What? You mean there's more to this thing than just stopping the Empire?
Yes. For my part, I would like to uncover the true nature of this enemy hidden in the shadows of Fodlan. The Church likely wants little beyond the reclamation of Garreg Mach. As for Claude, who can say? Rodrigue should be joining us here in the coming month, after he's finished tying up loose ends in the west. But even as our numbers burgeon, we can't afford to lower our guard. The situation demands constant vigilance. been waiting for you.
I have an idea.
I've had a thought.
I was thinking... Great. Let's get started.
Now then. Impressive.
Hey!
Time to work you into shape.
I wonder if this will suit me.
This one's been leveled too. Every last house in the village reduced to ash. Our first push into enemy territory, and all we have to show for it is the charred remains of people's lives.
The neighboring village was plundered as well. There must have been Imperial soldiers stationed nearby.
What is it, Dimitri?
I don't understand. Why would they do this? Were they trying to stop us from retrieving supplies from these villages? Were they that adamant that we not establish a base here? In a sense, are we responsible for this?
The fiends oppressed this region heavily. Setting it alight was no far step beyond that.
Looked like they raised the fields too.
What wrong had these people committed to deserve such barbarity, such mindless slaughter? And what sort of foul creature would carry it out?
Hard to say. I can get why they might want to burn the buildings down, but there's no reason to execute all the villagers too. This isn't usually how the Empire does stuff. Sure, their methods have always been pretty rough, but never downright cruel like this.
Agreed. Perhaps this is the result of their failure at Aryan Road. This devastation, this blackened earth. Can this truly be the world she hopes to create?
I suspect Edelgard is no more than a mere puppet now. That, or perhaps a victim of whatever befell Tomas.
You may just be right.
Urgent news, Your Majesty! The Western Church has launched a surprise attack on our rear flank!
I see. And what of our losses?
Minimal as of yet, but the enemy makes to join up with the Imperial Army and strike again.
What's the call, Dimitri?
I'd like to push on, but it seems we will have to put that on hold for now. The Western Church comes first.
But why would the Western Church form an army now of all times?
I know they've had many disagreements with the Central Church over the years, but that doesn't explain the timing.
The answer may lie in the reports that some of Cornelia's associates have been seen among their ranks.
Interesting. The Western Church infiltrated by the very foe we hope to strike down. An organization devoted to the salvation of all, overtaken by another dedicated to nothing but chaos. Now there's some irony.
I guess it depends on what happened when. But if the Western Church has been rubbing elbows with Cornelius' people this whole time, they might have played a role of their own in the tragedy of Dusker.
Indeed, I believe the situation holds many hidden truths. Ones we may never have imagined until this very moment.
Tomas, Cornelia, Tallis? They've been pulling the strings this whole time. But what's that mean for me? My power is the exact same as theirs.
It's certainly a puzzle, yes. A quandary even I don't hold the answer to. Perhaps you're related somehow. Though bearing similar abilities doesn't necessarily make you their kin. The good news is, some of them will be in this very battle. Perhaps you can seek out the truth yourself.
I thought this was the Western Church's army. You wouldn't know it with all those outside forces. Imperial and otherwise.
We must help these people, and quickly! For you! Focus on gaining territory now. Our priority is granting the local citizens an escape route. To do so, we must start by capturing the nearby strongholds.
There are still people trapped inside the fortress. We need to get to them fast.
It's tantamount to death for these people should these strongholds fall. We must keep them secure.
Kingdom's here already? Loot whatever you can.
Get a load of this guy here for the wrong job. Made him an Imperial general anyway. I'm out of here if we're killing innocent people. Goes against the Merc Code.
It's too late to have morals now. We're paying you to kill. So you buckle down and do it.
Take a breather.
Let me at him!
I've awaited this moment. This isn't even Kingdom territory. What would embolden them to do such things?
You can have your dirty money back. Find someone else for this job.
Shut up and do as you're told, Merc. Or I could always cut you to pieces if you can't follow orders. Take this!
We made it! Come on, we have to help the others.
I think that's all of them. No matter what happens from here on out, we have to keep them safe.
We saved as many as we possibly could. Now we need to see them safely evacuated to the strongholds outside the fortress.
Not on my watch. You fools will get what you deserve.
We have a squad of healers in reserve. They should be able to provide aid to injured citizens. Please, heal them.
Stand back! My turn.
Epimenides. I hope that grants us some peace of mind for a little while.
Ready the ballistic! Let's see them off with a nice parting
I
gift!
shall take the...
I'll take point.
Those ballistae are trouble. We should split up and take them down.
Yeah, right.
Let me out of here, Mediday. Said I'm leaving.
And I said, you're going nowhere! You'll stay put and watch these peasants die!
Is that a dissenter in their ranks? We should reach out to him before things escalate any further.
You saved me! Thanks a bunch!
Take a breather.
It's a net.
I've awaited this moment.
They just keep coming.
Hard to fight and keep your prizes safe at the same time, isn't it?
Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Let me out!
You're letting them get away. I'm not done feasting on the fear in their eyes yet.
You're through!
One left. Let's hurry.
We did it! We've created a safe path forward.
The people should be safe in the strongholds for now, but we must keep defending them to the very end.
I'll take point.
Allow me to relieve you.
They've all escaped! Guess it's time to finish this myself!
Oh, perfect. The big bad's on the field now. Don't take your eyes off the strongholds, but this is our chance to take him down.
That traitor Merc still needs to be dealt with. Get him!
A fine hit!
That's how it's gonna be, huh? Don't think I'll just take this lying down.
I'll cut you!
We'll strike at the weakest point.
Hey, you from the kingdom? Would you give me a hand here? Thanks for the rescue. What was I thinking? Taking a job working under those jerks.
Perhaps you'd like to join us instead, then. We can make it worth your while.
Sure, why not? You mind if I get a breather first, though?
You let all the maggots get away, but I wasn't done torturing them. You'll just have to take their place.
It's been a rough one.
Bring it down!
The gold I reckon. Wait. If it's money you want, I'll split the loot.
Stand back.
My turn.
Soldiers of Vargas.
Don't push yourself too hard, Your Majesty. I should really take my own advice.
Is that what passes for an Imperial general these days?
Ultimately, Megaday, you were no better than a stupid beast. You will withdraw.
Got you now.
It's a net!
I shall take the lead.
I am Myson, liberator of humankind from the control of filthy vermin.
So that guy's the brains behind all this? Don't let him get away!
We must keep the people safe. Whatever happens, protect our strongholds.
While I may have turned a blind eye to the Empire's brutality, this wasn't what I signed up for. I'm out there.
Don't let them get away.
You are all descendants of the most inconsequential of beasts, and your deaths will fuel our grand ambition.
You're mine.
No matter the justification, your actions are inexcusable.
Attack! Give them no quarter!
No, these look an awful lot like Cornelius creeps.
It's as good as ours!
That stronghold's going to fall if we don't do something. We need to help, and fast!
We'll be done for if we lose that stronghold.
I've awaited. You will not step aside.
Thinning their numbers. Yes! Mercenary power!
Still here. Will not be held up by such foul vermin. I suppose we cannot make any more gains here. No sense in sticking around. Unless...
Myson, was it?
Your efforts saved countless lives today. Hold your head high.
Where are you, Myson?
Why? Why do you wield the power of Epimenides?
Epimenides?
Tell me, where did you obtain it? Unless... his core...
His what? What are you even talking about? The power I got from Arvel?
I'm not sensing his presence anymore. Myson has fled.
Yeah, and left us with nothing but questions. I didn't get a word of what he was saying.
Afraid the same goes for me. That was all quite perplexing indeed.
Either way, it's clear as day we're connected somehow. No point worrying about it now, though. Whatever their deal is, I'm still gonna keep being me.
That's the spirit, and I have to say, you've handled this power with some serious aplomb these past few years. If you ask me, I see no reason to start fearing it now. The strength I've given you has saved countless lives, and you know it. Don't you remember what Dimitri said? Power itself is neutral. The good or evil comes from the one who wields it. So I say you keep using it, both to protect your friends and to finally defeat the Ashen Demon. Got something on your mind? You seemed oh so distracted during your training today.
A bit, yeah. It's kinda hard to just move on after what Myson said to me. Speaking of, he mentioned my power coming from some guy named Epimenides? Part of me wonders if that's not somehow referring to you, Arvel.
I can't say for sure. The whole no memories thing, remember?
Right. I guess neither of us really know the truth about ourselves.
And I don't care to. Not now, anyway. There's an order all this should be done in. Priorities that take hold. If you let yourself get distracted by every shiny new object that comes along, you'll never reach your goal.
Which is what exactly? Wait, don't tell me.
Defeating the Ashen Demon. Everything starts from there. You can think for the rest of time if you want, but you'll never discover the truth with only the information you have now. Not to mention that ending that fiend is the best and only way to protect the new friends you adore so much.
Yeah, you're probably right.
His Majesty requests your presence. Lord Rodrigue has just arrived. They hope to discuss strategy.
Got it. I'll be right over.
Such concludes the report I received from my son. The Western Church's assault does not appear to have meaningfully hampered the kingdom's progress.
Glad to hear it. We'd better make sure we can keep up.
It sounds like everyone's pulling their weight over there too. What a relief.
But Claude, what do you propose we actually do? Crossing the Great Bridge of Myrden will only land us square in Burgley's territory, home to the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs himself.
I don't get how we can invade the Empire without losing a ton of people.
Simple. We don't really invade. All we have to do is make it look like we will. I told Dimitri the same thing. Remember, Garrick Mach is the actual prize here. If we get dragged into a mud fight deep in their territory, pulling out won't be an option. The most important thing is convincing them they need to keep a nice big flock of troops stationed to defend the Eastern Front.
And how do we do that?
How else? We use the many-headed snake.
Ugh, gross. I don't like the sound of this.
Don't worry, that's just the name of the strategy. It's an old trick they used to pull east of Fodman. Imagine our army's a many-headed snake, striking at a bunch of different targets all at once. Meaning not just the Great Bridge of Myrden, but every other bridge that spans the Aramid too. The second the Empire starts trying to sever any one head in particular, we pull it back and redouble our efforts from the others.
A plan as arrogant and brazen as our leader himself, and yet an effective one to hear tell of it. At any rate, my opinion bears little weight in this chamber. I leave the decision to you.
We need to consider all our options here. If we really do reclaim Garrick Mach, Fodlan will undoubtedly change. And when it does, our army needs the strength to greet whatever horizon awaits.